Ah, okay. Wow, that's actually kind of interesting. I'm not doing anything right now. I'm actually just raising my hands up. That is really funny. Hi, hello, it's me, Salty. Wow, local virtual baker, la 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 la. Meh. La 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 la. I'm... Blah. I feel very blah. Does that make sense? I just feel very blah today. Not like a bad blah, but just like... I don't know how to exactly put it. I just feel very... gray. Monotone, monochrome. So, wait, am I... Did I set a timer? Okay, I did set a timer. Sorry, I'm just like... looking at stuff and things, so my bad. But hi, hello, it's me, and I am making comfort food today, or at least comfort food for me, because I just felt like it. It was kind of from yesterday, really, but oh shoot, I just realized that, like, sorry, I'm making bread today. Unrelated for today's stream, but I'm baking bread and I forgot to do something. Hi there, Chase. Welcome in. Hi there, Milk. Welcome in as well. Hi to you. Okay, so anyways, what was I talking about? Today's food. I was thinking about it, last week, and I was thinking about, you know, usually I cook for myself very often, but very often I actually don't actually cook stuff that I want to eat, if that makes sense. I'm not sure, it probably doesn't make sense, but like, it's kind of strange how my brain works in the sense of like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make sure I do this and that, make sure I do this and that, that and this. But my brain is for some reason wired up to an idea of like, if I want to cook food, since it's such a huge part of what I do, I need to make sure every single time I cook food, it has to be the best absolute thing I can make it to be. And like, oh, I make myself such good food, and this and that, and it might taste good, look good, or whatever it may not, or may be. But like, I always kind of stress about it, you know? Very, very stress-heavy food, and even if it isn't, there's still always a little thought in my head of like, this is good, but this doesn't hit the notes. It hits a spot, but it doesn't hit you, it doesn't hit me, you to me. Doesn't hit me in the right spot, you know? It hits the spot, but it's like, it's something that I want to, it's something that it's like, oh, this is new, something new, and it tastes great, but it's like, it doesn't hit home, if that makes sense, you know? So I was thinking like, okay, let me try to do a comfort food stream. That might be fun, yeah? Then, started to really think about it, and it's like, man, I don't really know what actually constitutes as comfort food for me, just because when I was younger and all this and that, I did not eat that much. The food that I would eat is very, very basic and very, very simplistic. And I was thinking like, oh yeah, I'll just do something like real easy and simple, like let me make like chicken adobo or something like that, but like that's not really comfort food for me. Nothing I really grew up on. So I tried to really think about it, like, oh yeah, what's food that I like really, really grew up with, and it's like, really couldn't think of it other than like maybe a few things, and it's like, it's kind of silly because trying to make a whole stream about it is really silly, I guess. I'm essentially going to be making a few things. A few things being like, what, 2 things? 2 things or so, yeah. I'm going to be making a London broil, and a London broil, buttered rice, some broccoli, and garlic bread. Because those are really the only things that came to mind. Where it's like, what is some good comfort food? What is something I used to eat a lot when I grew up that is actually something I want to eat right now? And it was like chicken fingers, fries, mashed potatoes. But I didn't really feel like having mashed potatoes. They're just too hearty, and it's too hot outside to eat it right now. But London broil. I haven't had a London broil in like such a long time. So it's like, that sounds like pretty good. So I got some London broil. It was actually really nice. It's like a good, like, maybe 2-pound steak or so. And it was only like $20. I'm not sure if that's good or not, but like for 2 pounds of meat, that's not that bad in the grand scheme of it, I think. For beef, at least. So I got that, and I took it out like 2 hours ago, been letting it come to room temp. Gave it a quick salt and pepper sort of ordeal, and yeah, I've been waiting to cook it off. I'm actually kind of excited because, like, I don't remember the last time I've had London broil. My parents don't really buy that stuff anymore, but I remember, like, I would be so excited to eat that sort of thing because it just felt, it's like I don't know how to explain it. Does anyone know what really London broil is? Because it's a tasty piece of meat. I actually can't really remember how it tastes anymore because I haven't had it in quite a bit of time. And now that I'm actually thinking about it, I'm kind of now actually. Okay, so I can actually make a bit of mash because I kind of want to make a bit of mash. Because a very, very common meal was like, okay, rice, potatoes, yes, double starch, rice, potatoes, and meat. I was cut between two things because, another thing I would love to eat, my parents would always eat, is either breaded chicken or breaded pork. And they made really, really bad breaded pork chops. It was really, really bad. It was dry as a bone. It was horrendous to eat. But, they would do like chicken parm and breaded chicken and all of that, and just have just a nice thing of breaded chicken, some buttered rice, and that's really it. So, the only thing is that I hold myself back in the sense that I can't be completely authentic because my parents would get boiled rice, like parboiled rice, but something in my body just says no to that. I can't go down that low again. And maybe that'll be the death of me. Maybe it's like, oh, it's not that good. It's not as good as my parents would make it. But the London broil, I have done it in the same way that my parents kind of would, except for not seasoning it. My parents would take meat out very, very early. Like, so much that it actually kind of makes me feel a little concerned because it gets into a dangerous kind of zone, the danger zone, where bacteria and stuff can grow, blah. But, I kind of went with it. It was like, you know what? We're gonna kind of go with that, but not exactly. So, yeah. Oh, hi there. Wait, is that Nicole? Is that Nicole? Hold on. I don't... Are you who I think you... Oh, wait. Oh, sorry, hold on. My goodness, your timing impeccable. Because the moment you just started to read it in here, my goodness, my bread went off. What timing? Now, oh, you're someone completely different. Hi there. That's so funny. I actually know someone that has a similar user to you, but hi, thank you for the raid, Nico. Hello, hello. Maybe you had a good one. I'll see you around. You have a good rest of your day. Yeah, a wonderful stream? I will. It's gonna be a very fun stream. I'm very excited to do something like this. It's very, very simple, very small. But I'm excited. It's just such a simple, fun little stream to do. And just really excited because it's comfort food. It's like, really trying to think hard about this. Like, yes. What's something that I can make that's very simple? Not simple, but what's kind of food that's like very, very fun to make, I guess. But I really couldn't think of anything. Not really fun. No, what's the word here? I try to really think like what was something that my parents would make for me all the time, and it's kind of funny because a lot of the food is very, very simple. It's very basic, if you will. There's not much technique. There's not much of this. There's not much of that, and that's kind of because my mom and dad did not know how to cook too much. Well, actually, my mom didn't know how to cook too much, and she was usually the one who would cook for my family. So, yeah, I usually would eat a lot of her stuff. A lot of her stuff was good and bad, so, yeah. But, there was one thing that she always would make. It is very, very fun to eat. Not fun to eat, very, very just comforting for me to eat. Hi there. Hi there. Hi, Bergolf. Hello. Alright, well, we'll continue the yapping in just a moment. Let's, okay, Menace, Dante, you are not funny. I'm just gonna actually just, there we go. Didn't take anything I said to... Didn't really kind of read between the lines. The man's not funny. I feel like this guy is gonna be some other guy I know of. Alright, cool. Let's see here. What was I talking about? Yeah, let's just get cooking. We'll start the talking and all that stuff as we do it, so yeah. Alright. I'm just gonna really quickly grab some things. There we go, okay. Now I just gotta do one more thing. Just love doing this sort of setup. Unfortunately, it's all I can. It's the only it's the best I can do. There we go. Alright. Cool. Cool and good. So, here we are, in the kitchen. So, it's gonna be very fun to do, very kind of silly in my head to do almost, just because a lot of this food I'm gonna make now is very, how'd you say, for my skill level I do have, for what little I do have, this is very easy. This is very straightforward and very simple. It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny because, like, I remember when I'm gonna just start getting onto it. When my parents would actually start doing this and that, they would actually be, what is it? They would probably take like a few hours to get this done. It's really silly because a lot of the stuff is really simple. Unfortunately, I can't be completely authentic to what my parents would do because my parents would grill this instead. Unfortunately, I don't have a grill. I live in an apartment, so I have a cast iron pan, which is just gonna do good enough, unfortunately. Well, I don't think unfortunately is the correct word. I don't think correct. I don't think unfortunately is the correct word to use here. But here we are. Yeah, so I got myself a London broiled cut steak. I do not remember the cut of meat this is from, but this is a kind of very tough bit of steak. It's like It's a lot like... It's gonna come to me. It's a lot like flank in that regard, to where you want to cut them like really, really nice and thin. It's essentially like roast beef. That is essentially what London broil is. I'm essentially just making roast beef today. Roast beef, I'm gonna make some nice buttered rice, and what is it? Other small things as well. Maybe a small bit of mash or whipped potatoes, because that's what my parents would love to make. So I'm gonna try to make that. And I'm also going to make some low-key garlic bread and just some broccoli, just because I need something green as well. And I just need some green stuff. I like veggies now. Which is kind of funny, because like when I started growing up and this and that, I didn't really eat many veggies. I kind of thought that they were bad for you, funny enough. But yeah, it was real silly, really funny. I don't know why. Well, it's not that I don't know why, but it's more or less because, you know, you see in the TV shows, this and that, main characters would like not like veggies and this and that. So it's like, oh, they must be a bad thing. And steak and meat and this and that, they're good things, right? It's not wrong, but exactly. But it's also, veggies aren't a bad thing that you should avoid. It was just a personal preference thing, if anything. Alright, are we hot yet? Get a test here. We're kind of there, but we can go hotter. I'm gonna try to make sure I get a good sear here. I want to make it smoking hot, so yeah. Hi Bush, welcome in. Hi Bush, hi, how are you today? I'm gonna be making a very classic American comfort food for you. Comfort food, Bush, so I'm not sure if you'd be interested in that, but I'm doing that today. I'm not sure if this is exactly the most extremely American, but like, I'm just taking this into a presumption because like my parents are very, very basic American. It's not a bad thing, but it's something to really acknowledge. Of yeah, they're kind of basic. They're kind of like very basic on their flavor profile and such. I'm doing all right. How are you? I'm doing good. Doing good. Had a deal with someone online. Had a deal with someone. That stupid boneless guy. Most flavorless of jokes. So, all right. Let's see here. It's hot, but it can be hotter. But I'll let it go. All right. Here we go. But yeah, anyway, we're making a very, very, what I think would be a very classic American dish, I think. Or at least one for like a very simple household, you know? Just because it's a roast. It's a simple roast. I'm not sure if it's really American. I think it's more of a, actually come to think of it, I think it's just more of a classic meal, period. A classic roast, some simple side, and that's really it. There's no real, I don't think there's really any cuisine that's like associated with this, really. I'm just saying American just because, oh, my parents are very American, and like, my silly culinary brain is just thinking like, oh yeah, everything has an association. It's like, French-inspired, or Greek-inspired, or Japanese, you know, that's how my brain just works, just like to categorize everything. And I really shouldn't, and I really just shouldn't, because my brain works like that. But, yeah, my parents would very, very rarely make this, though. They don't even make it anymore, as much as I know. But, yeah, excited to make something like this again. Come to think of it, I should probably see if I can I gotta actually think, maybe I should make this for my parents eventually. Just because, I don't know, I think it's kind of, would be kind of funny to give them something that comes full circle in my head. There's a real hard decision of like, what to choose for like the main protein for comfort food is. For my comfort food, because it's lemon broil or like a roast beef. It's either roast beef, a breaded pork chop, or breaded chicken breast, or ribs. Now, I didn't want to do ribs because my dad does really amazing ribs, and he has a method that he has told me several times, but I have forgotten them every single time he tried to tell me. So, there's that. But no matter what, and I believe there's some sort of psychology to it too. Even if he told me to do it the way that he's done it for however long I've been alive, I probably just wouldn't do it right. So. You guys know about this is like old stuff to talk about, but there's like a psychology thing when it comes to like comfort and home food, to where like you will never cook as good as your parents would, because there's like some sort of psychology to it all. Mostly the thing is like, oh yeah, food is, essentially the study was food would taste better if someone else would cook it. So the thing I'm trying to make today, even, it's not going to taste like how I want it to taste, because I kind of have an expectation. I know what it's going to taste like. It's going to be like this, this, and that, and I kind of already know what's going into it, just because like I'm doing everything that goes apart to doing this all. But there is some psychology into it where it's like, it's better to actually, it's a lot more, the food will taste better if someone else makes it, and especially it will be a lot better if it's especially from food, it's from someone you love, or family and such and whatnot. So you know, there's that to keep in mind as well. So unfortunately, shut up. It's not that hot. So unfortunately, I'm not as good as cooking steak and stuff like my dad. And my dad very much can tell by touch. But I also have never actually even cooked. Ooh, that's nice. Need a little more color. I never really figured out how to testing stuff by touch. That's something I never figured out, and I don't think I'll ever really figure out. But I have to use a thermometer just because I want to be more accurate with it. I think my dad's tried to explain it to me several times, even like in more recent years. He tried to tell me about like, hey, this is how you do it. You just gotta do it by feel. Like, this feels rare, this is medium, this is well, and all that sort of stuff. But I don't know. It doesn't make sense in my head. So I'm still stuck using thermometers and whatnot. Ooh. Okay, that's nice color. I can accept that. There we go. Okay. Yeah, my parents would more or less grill this, though. They wouldn't be searing it, all this and that, because, well, I guess it's just not how they roll. Oh, bread ready. Unrelated, but bread. Potato bread. Yeah. Alright. Alright, so I can't help myself just because of, what is it? When it comes to cooking and whatnot, I can't help but also just want to, how to say, still add some technique into it all. Even though I know in my head I really wanted to avoid using like cool techniques, this and that and that and this, and try and get to that sort of authenticity that my parents would do. Does that make sense? My parents, they were never really big cooks. If anyone, my dad was really a cook. And, he was always busy with work. He would never really cook too much. But the little chef inside my head is telling me to taste this. So, a little bit of oil, a little bit of butter. But I think I'll do that in just a moment. I could use a little garlic though. You know, I guess this is a quick question. Is audio okay? Is anything too loud, too quiet? Can you hear me, more importantly, I guess? How is the audio? Can you hear me at all? Only problem is that sync is really loud. It's messing up the audio a bit. Alright, hold on, let me try to fix that. Alright. So now I think the sound should be gone, except you don't hear the fun ASMR, I guess. Ooh, nice. Alright. Ow. Can't hear you. Oil pops to drown you out a little. Okay. So is this better? Is this audio better? Can you hear this a lot better? It's the worst ASMR ever. Okay. So is this better then? Can you hear this? Is this better? Yes? Okay, good. Yeah, I can't help myself. I didn't want to use any technique in making that. But for something like this, especially when I did actually spend quite a bit of money, I do want to make sure that this is going to taste good. So I'm going to be basting this in just some butter. A little bit of garlic as well. A bit of garlic as well. But nothing crazy. Garlic, butter, nothing else. It is different. Don't burn yourself. Listen, I'm not trying to burn myself, okay? It's just that things are a little bit hotter than I expected it. Gonna take this now. Carefully. Okay, as I was saying, I'm going to carefully just put the rest of this on top, along with that clove of garlic. Let's have it there just to look nice. Alright. And for making this thing, just gonna stick the thing as deep as I can into like the nice thickest part. Whew. And I'm just gonna roast this off until it registers 125. I believe 125 is like medium rare. That's what I'm going for. wanted to go for like a nice temperature, a nice simple temperature, but not simple. I want to go for a nice rare, honestly. London broil is definitely one of those things you want to keep a little bit more raw, I guess. Well, not raw, but the more you cook it, the more tough it's gonna be. So. Okay. So we're gonna wait for that to get up to temp. I can't exactly remember if 125 is. Pretty sure it is rare. Like it's rare because I wanted to carry over, and usually carryover takes into account for like 5 to 10 degrees. So at that point, from 125, it will go to 135, and that'll be rare, medium, and that's kind of my preferred. So. That means I'm just gonna get the stuff prepared for when it comes out. Okay, wait, I'm just getting a... Hold on, I gotta scoop here. funny that I was talking about my family today. My dad just gave me a call. He was talking to me about some sort of bread cutter, but like, they don't exactly exist the way he was describing it. It was kind of funny. Hi, hello, I'm back. No, he's not here right now. He was talking to me on my phone, but yeah, it's funny. I'm talking about my parents today. I'm talking about like comfort food and all this and that. My dad calls me. That's very lovely and it's nice. It makes me feel good. Hey, I'm actually gonna clean this cast iron. There's nothing I can really do with it right now. Yeah, that's why I went silent there for a moment there. I was getting a very important phone call. Very rarely will I actually have my dad call me out in his own way. It's more of my thing. My mom is more of a plain kind of mother. She loves the hell out of me, but I think she might love me a little bit too much, to where it's like, it's okay for me to scrape my knee, you know? She's a little bit too caring, and you know what? I can't really blame her, I guess. Just the mom thing. I still would like for her to let me at least mess up once or twice. I would like it, honestly, but it'd be good for me to grow up, I guess. I think she does it just because she loves me. And that's an easy, simple green seafood. Nothing crazy. It's not like I made 20 changes today. Just a little bit of rubbing of oil, scraping out some particles, but that's that. Happy. Yeah, it's weird. It's very nice to be happy. Not used to it. It's very concerning, because that means something's about to go wrong. Which is actually something I was really worried about for a moment there. Usually when my father calls me, it's very specific things. So I'm thinking like, oh geez, why is he calling me? Did someone fall down the stairs or something? So I really worried there for a second. I know that we're also doing comfort food today, but I also want to do other things because other things I wanted to accomplish today. So I'm also making potato bread buns because I had time to make potato bread, had extra potatoes lying around, so potato bread. I'm not sure if this is gonna sound strange to say, but like I was never really a huge fan of potato bread. I'm saying that if it's strange or not because I know that everyone and their mother, when I was in my culinary school, loved potato bread. And I like potato bread. It's good every now and then. But like, I personally don't see what's so great about potato bread. In a sense of flavor. Don't get me wrong, this potato bread still makes me very confused, but very intrigued still. It's just so fluffy, and very little goes into it, in the sense of, like, ingredients. Like, there's no complicated things, like, there's no tangzong, there's no softening agents, you don't add this or that. And it's kind of interesting in its simplicity in that regard, you know? Its simplicity is what really intrigues me in that sense. So, I'm just making some buns here. I already had a loaf of potato bread made. Now I want to make some buns. Probably could shape them better, honestly, but eh. Okay. Now I just actually have to put these somewhere else now. All I have to do is that. Speaking of potato breads, I'm gonna push the one potato bread I do have. There we go. Potato bread, but it is a tad overcooked. Still gotta find out the perfect. Still trying to find out the perfect what do you call it? The perfect ratio, the perfect amount to put into a thing, because I keep thinking like, oh, this is too much bread. Oh, this is not enough bread. It's complicated. Either way around it, I'm finding that I'm being very stingy either way around it, because usually it's usually not the latter of like there's too much bread, but I always underfill it in that regard. I thought I proofed it nicely too this time too, so kind of interesting. I'm also going to be making garlic bread today too. So, I don't know how to explain this in the sense okay, not that I don't know how to explain it, but like I don't know how to work this. Other than just saying I got bored today and I just want to make hoagie rolls because tomorrow's stream we're making sandwiches and all that whatnot. And I know one big thing that my parents would always love to do, and I know I like to do too, is that after days like this, especially when we made lemon broils, we would get some bread, some nice, really good French bread and such, and then we would cut it up and then use it for sandwiches. Might make a sandwich today, honestly, but I'm gonna take some of the bread because I got a lot of bread, spread it some garlic butter, and call it a day. Speaking of which, rice. I know this might be a little heinous for most. My parents, what they would do is that they would get rice, like parboiled rice. They would cook parboiled rice, and then just throw just butter in it, butter and salt, and that was it. So I don't have parboiled rice because I'm not a degenerate. Okay, I'm better. Better. Parboiled rice just makes me kind of sad. So instead, I have some bagel rice, which I'm gonna use instead. So I got some bagel rice that I'm gonna put into a pot. And now I'm just going to just throw in some bits of butter in there. I'm not gonna try and be fancy because I believe I do have some garlic butter that I could throw into the rice, but I'm gonna try and make sure that I keep it just very simple in the regards of like nothing crazy, simply what it is, butter and rice, nothing else. Good, that means I used it all. Well, you know what that means then? We gotta make garlic butter. Or at least I'm gonna make garlic bread in a way to get to make it now. So I'm gonna get some butter here. Need to use an entire stick for this whole meal. God. I'm gonna get some butter, throw it in the thing, and I'm just gonna microwave it. Nice and soft. Do a nice spreadable steak here. I'm just gonna grab this butter and then just kind of spread it on here. Now not the funny thing, but the thing is about this is when my parents would make garlic butter, is that they would not use fresh garlic. They would more or less use what is it? Powdered garlic. Powdered garlic. Now it's not a bad thing exactly, but the thing about using powdered garlic, like the garlic powder versus fresh garlic, is that the garlic powder is actually gonna melt first, and it actually makes your garlic bread a bit more bitter. But I'm gonna try and not do that. You know, it's kind of funny because I'm just buttering bread right now. Simply Bread. Nothing crazy. Gonna throw this extra butter into the rice here. Might as well not waste it. And usually they would throw on like the fake Parmesan, if you know what I mean by this. We all know what that fake Parmesan stuff is. The stuff that's like in that green bottle and it's at room temperature. And it's like just kind of disgusting and nasty because it tastes like plastic almost. Like it's stabilized Parmesan cheese, but it's not like real Parmesan. Oh. Okay. Oh. Okay, so my thermometer started going off, so I'm presuming that my nice thing right here is up. So I'm gonna leave that there and we're gonna let that rest. And that couldn't be any better timing because now I'm gonna put on. Actually, I'm gonna be smart with this. There's still cheese on it, but I'm gonna put some of this garlic powder, and I'm just gonna put a nice generous bit on it. But then I'm going to put the cheese on top to help protect the garlic a bit, so it doesn't burn and taste extremely bitter. Parents were the best cooks around, but this is what I grew up with. That and a lot of chicken fingers and roasted potatoes. Very simple things. Actually, I know what I'm gonna cook for my vegetable because I'm just realizing this right now. But although my parents wouldn't make this was something that my parents would often do when we went out to go eat. Yeah, do you guys remember going out to go eat for dinner and stuff, and it didn't cost an arm and a leg to go get like a simple thing of food? Oh, by the way, I have some dried parsley because my parents would throw some dried parsley leaves on the garlic bread just because like, oh, parsley fancy. Now this isn't like store-bought dried parsley leaves. These are actually parsley leaves drying right now. But it's better than nothing, I guess. So I'm gonna just dust these with a bit of parsley, dried parsley, and that's that. Okay, let's see here. So I'm just going to move things around. I'm gonna move this nice roasted steak here, throw it in here, just so it can rest. I'm doing this because I don't have enough space for anything, but... Ooh, okay, I'm gonna have that as a little snack. There's a nice little bit of roasted garlic here. I'm also gonna just throw the jus back on top. It has moist. But there's a nice, lovely bit of roasted garlic here. Ooh, I have to eat that. It's roasted garlic that's been like doused in so much butter, maybe some beef fat as well, and all this and that. It's gonna be good. Tasty, even. Oh, sorry. To lack an abundance of cooking utensils. Ugh. Anyways, now this goes in the oven. Okay, so going back to what I was trying to say. First of all, I'm gonna this because who doesn't love a bit of roasted garlic? And that's so soft. I mean, yeah, it's like roasted garlic, but that thing, nice bread. You know, something I actually need to do more often. I just need to roast garlic more at home. Roast garlic lasts a lot more, it's a lot easier to use, and cooking and stuff because you don't really have to cook it. You just throw it in and you get that really strong flavor of garlic. But I kind of still like using raw garlic in other applications, so I just can't help but just not do it. And the weird way of saying it, I'm too lazy. So, ooh, what's in that bowl right there? It's roast beef, a London broiled, more specifically. How's the soul? The soul feels good right now. We're feeling good. Very simple, very, I gotta stop saying simple, because, yes, it's simple, but it's like, it's a lot more than just being simple, but, let me just put some stuff away real quick. I don't know why my mind is wanting to impact and think, like, oh yeah, this isn't anything special, it's simple food, it's it's so simple, blah, blah, blah. I don't know why my brain is wanting me to, like, think this and that. But I think I also do know why, because, as I've mentioned, learning how to cook, this and that, and since I'm just such a self-destructive, I can't help, I have no choice but to think, okay, I have to make something good, big, great, grandiose, something amazing to make, you know? My mind is always thinking on improvement and trying to make something better, making something great, you know? But I also kind of know that always wanting to improve is a good thing, but it is also good to relax, especially when it comes to something like food. Food is a very comforting thing for everyone, I believe, you know? It's a thing that everyone does. Everyone eats. Everyone drinks. Everyone does stuff, you know? That's kind of one thing that everyone in the world will have in common. Like, everyone's gonna have their favorite food because we all eat, so we have our favorites and this and that. And if you say you don't have a favorite food, you do have a favorite food, you just don't want to tell it. Maybe it's like a really bad food. It's like, oh, I like eating Dunkin' Donuts when they're like 5 days old. And you know what? That can be a guilty pleasure. That's something that we call a guilty pleasure. And there's something wrong with that. Like, honestly, one of the things I'm making right here this is a guilty pleasure for me. Even though that this is probably an extremely sacrilegious and horrible thing to do with your rice. It's a horrible way to produce rice, or like cook rice. Not cook, but like, what's the word? It's a horrible way to prepare rice. You get day-old rice, or how my parents would do it is parboiled rice, and then you throw it in a pot with butter and salt. That's it. Buttered rice. But I like it a lot. And it's weird because since I myself am Asian, and growing up it's like, oh yeah, this is actually kind of weird now, I can't help but not shake off the idea that even though it's weird, it's still amazing. I don't know. Anyways, we're gonna get some stuff cooking here. And another thing I was trying to talk about. So, a thing I would often get, because my parents would often take us out. You know, me and my sister have to go eat food. And although I was a very picky eater, I would always try my best to eat everything I could. Got a really crappy thing, one sec. So I'm gonna try and prepare this the way that they do in the restaurants. Like, you know, like those really cruddy chain restaurants that give you like house vegetables. Like, they're just house vegetables. But we all know it's just kind of just like stuff that's really inexpensive and cheap for them to get, so they can produce it out, stuff like that. Those two things that they would use, the things that they would often use, and the ones I can remember the best, is that they would just basically cook squash, yellow squash, and green and zucchini, and essentially they would just dice it up, cut it, cook it with some butter, call it a day. Now, I don't exactly want to do that completely. But like, there's really nothing else to really innovate here, you know? Diced up squash, cooked in a bit of salt, butter, pepper, and I don't know. That's like very nostalgic for me. It's so to avoid using the word simple. It's very nostalgic. That rice is getting a little warm. Gotta wait for it to get a little bit warmer before I can do the thing I want to do. Not want to do, but the thing I can do, because once it gets hot enough, there should be enough residue and heat that I can just kind of throw it to the side. And then I can start doing the house veggies. That hurt. I catch that with my finger. That hurt. Okay. So, house veggies. Kind of funny because since one of my first jobs was working at like a little small bar and grill area, they would do their version of a house veggie as well. And you know, it did taste exactly like how you would get them in like stores and not stores, but like when you went out to go eat and whatnot. And it's kind of funny because it's really stupid how simple it is. So if you're interested and you want to know as well, follow these simple instructions, I guess. So you get some diced squash because that's an easy way to cut it. Now usually I would actually include the seeds here, but this is actually like fresh grown squash that my parents gave me. I think I saw them, I can't remember, was it today? Was it yesterday? What's today? Today's Monday? Yeah, so it was yesterday. My parents came over to actually say hi to me yesterday. So they gave me squash because people in the neighborhood like to give my parents veggies and stuff because they know that, oh, Salty likes to cook and this and that. But since I'm not there anymore, it's kind of funny because they think that I'm there all the time, but I'm not able to cook for them as much as I'd like to. Anyways, got a whole bunch of veggies that are like nicely fresh grown, very suburban areas. So the stuff that we do grow is that they grow is actually very good. So just dicing this yellow squash, gonna cook it down a bit. But the main thing about making this correctly is that you want to overfill the hell out of this thing. Because when you do this, you're not only cooking it in the butter, but you're trying to overcrowd the pan so that it gets completely, steamed. So it's getting cooked and flavored with butter, but it's also being overfilled by all the other veggies that is just getting steamed. I didn't really have much zucchini, but also I didn't expect to have this much yellow squash either. Any of you guys like to actually eat yellow squash? Or just squash in general? I don't feel like a lot of people actually eat yellow squash or zucchini often. Or at least I don't see people talk about it. It's usually like, oh yeah, I like to eat green beans, or I like to eat Brussels sprouts and broccoli. Which I do too. I love eating that stuff as well. But squash is such a lovely thing to eat, I think. It's a nice flavor, even though that it kind of honestly does taste like nothing. But, you know, you can add salt, add pepper, maybe garlic powder if you feel a little fancy. But I only really eat squash in soup form. Interesting. Ah, well, there's our garlic bread. That's pretty good, no? Ooh, nice. So now I'm gonna actually temp our steak here. Our roast has been sitting for a while. But look at that, 140 actually by the looks of it. So it might be a little over. Feels a tad over, but all this nice juice at least I'm gonna kind of leave that in there. And the plan is, my master plan, if you will, I'm going to actually be using that as salt. Because when my parents would cook this thing, this whole ordeal, minus this, because this is nostalgia from. This is like comfort food from like eating out so much. But when we talk about, sorry, what was I talking about? I forgot. Oh yeah, so when we talk about sauce, my parents would never really use sauce. That was just like a thing that my parents just would not really do. And I don't know why. My parents don't like sauce. Why? I don't know. So I'm going to be using sauce, but at the very least, I'm going to be using the juices from the steak as a sauce. Oh yeah, this tastes like nothing. I'm trying to actually make this really poorly, because the wrong way to make it is the way I'm trying to make it. In the sense that I'm just trying to like steam the hell out of it. I need to add salt though. Definitely need salt. Definitely needs a lot of salt to feel. And then that third part. Pepper, salt, butter. Yeah, that's the things that only people can cook with. At the very least, though, it's a lot better to cook with butter than it is with like oil. Healthier, within small quantities, of course. But okay, let's see. I'm just kind of interested about this thing though, because I know myself, and I know that I'm very, very bad at cooking. I'm very bad at cooking steak. So I'm gonna take this steak here. And it should at least be 145, so that's probably medium well. But I want this to be medium rare at most. So it's rested for a nice amount of time. So let's see. That's okay. It's a little bit more well than I'd like it to be. Probably more like medium. I like it a little bit more rare, obviously. But that should be fun. That should be tasty enough. That should be plenty tasty. Alright. Now the thing about lemon broil is that you want to make sure you cut it nice and thin and against the grain. You want to cut it thin because it's a very hard-working muscle, so it's very tough. So that's why it's actually even better to cook this stuff as rare as possible. Usually, rule of thumb, the rarer you make it, the softer it's gonna be. It's gonna be less like shoe leather, because if I were to cook this rare, like well done, it's gonna be like biting into shoe leather. The rarer, the better presentation and whatnot. I'm just gonna be cutting these as thin as I possibly can. My parents would very much try to make them as thin as they could, and since their knife skills aren't the best, this is like really thin, even though that I still think I'm kind of very thin. But yeah, my parents would love to try and cut this as thick as possible. So in the same regard, they probably weren't really worrying about that. They were just trying to get stuff cooked, you know? Yeah. So I'm actually gonna just make sure that they are at least still juicy. I'm actually going to throw all these pieces of meat back into the bowl here. I throw it back into the bowl just so it can absorb and just sit in its own juice for a bit. Just gather all those flavors. The one thing that my parents would do, they would cut all the meat and then they would throw it into the baking vessel that they cooked it in, so then all the juices would get in it. And then it would still be nice and juicy, and you wouldn't be like, oh, it needs a sauce, or like, oh, it's really dry. They sometimes knew what they were doing. I'm actually going to cut the rest of it up. Why not? Also, I'm just now gonna go out and call myself out. I think my very smart self was not cutting against the grain. Oh yeah, no, this is so good. But yeah, those cuts I threw in the bowl, those are not against the grain. Oh boy. This is gonna be like biting into shoe leather. Oh well. Oh. But, it's funny. I don't know. That. I haven't had this in so long. Really silly to think about this so hard now. But yeah, my god. It tastes really great. It tastes exactly how I remember it. Yeah, that tastes pretty much exactly like how I remember eating this. That's fun. Alright. Gonna leave it on here. I'm excited. It's a shame that I don't really have, what is it? Many memories of actually eating stuff with veggies. But that's mostly because my dad is a very carnivorous lad. Mr. Baker Dad, Top Chef Baker Dad, does not really like veggies. Still doesn't like veggies. So, my parents would often eat for their own liking and all that whatnot. So very rarely would I actually have the opportunity to actually eat veggies. But now I've come to around and really like eating them. So, hey, come around eventually. Right, we're good. Okay. This looks so silly in my head because this is like the point. This isn't like, I don't know what the word is. This is not the food I normally make, in the sense that the food that I would usually cook is a lot more higher end, a lot less home style, a lot more like, okay, it's gonna be a nice composed, very nicely plated thing. Very stuck up. It's a very stuck up way of cooking, really. To tell you the truth. But I've kind of just been thinking about how my way to cook at home is very stuck up. So that's kind of a nice thing about today as well. It's me to not only just have fun with my own things that I would remember and love to eat, but also just kind of relax a little bit. I think recently, oh wait, you know what? I'm gonna be funny with this because there's a very specific way I want to do which I know I just said that I'm trying to not be stuffy, but this is important. Because whenever you would go to a place to go out and eat, for some reason, they would always serve the side veggies in like a separate little bowl like this. And I still think it's really stupid. I don't know why they did it like that. And not only that, but they would stock it full too. Like this. They would give you a mountain full of veggies. And I guess it's because they're cheap. But yeah, you would get a mountain full of veggies on the side here, like that. You get a whole bunch of and then I would just gonna plate this how it would. Well, I'm just gonna plate this to make it look nice. Just because, yeah, I'm gonna still be stuffy about it, but I want to try and at least make it look nice, if you will. And just because I'm gonna put some of the juice on top of the beef. Here we go. And there we go. That is my style of comfort food. Very, very straightforward kind of meal. Nothing too special to call it. Garlic bread, buttered rice, roast beef, and some veggies. It's kind of the nice thing about it. It's nothing crazy. It's just very, very simple for what it is. And also, I'm just gonna add this pepper salt because I feel like the beef is gonna need pepper salt. Okay. Of course, I need this. Oh, and the nice thing about all of this, though, the nice thing about all of the extra beef I now have, you best believe that I'm going to be using it tomorrow, because essentially it's just roast beef. So, yeah, this looks good though. It's very nice. Here, I'm going to actually now send myself on BRB. I'm gonna push you guys to the side. You guys are gonna go into the BRB screen. I'm gonna get myself situated, and we're gonna go eat this food. Be right back, right? Hello? Okay, good, we're back. So here we are. I guess, if you will, this is kind of my style of comfort food. Yeah, slice little slices of the roast beef. I have my rice, garlic bread, and the simply cooked veggies. So, I think the most important thing I want to try here is the garlic bread. It's kind of funny, because I know that garlic bread, I say, is nostalgic for me. So it is kind of funny to think about that, and also mention that when we did that tier list, remember the bread tier list when I put garlic bread on like C or whatnot? Yeah, I still believe it belongs there, but it still has a very special place in my heart. I don't know. This is a very comfy meal for me, very cozy. So I am gonna try garlic bread first. Here we go. Yeah, that's some really good garlic bread. It's not the best garlic bread I've had, but like, yeah, the butter got into the bread nicely. That nice little bit of cheese on top is there. The garlic is very in the back, but kind of what you get for using powdered garlic, so. Oh wait, I don't think you can actually hear that. Hold on, wait. This is kind of important because this garlic bread is actually really, really satisfying to eat because it's so crunchy. All right, here, take a listen. Okay, it's not as crunchy as I want. Here, wait. Very crunchy. Yeah, I'm gonna finish this garlic bread. Might as well. Yeah, there's some really good garlic bread. Oh. Probably would be nice to have a little bit more garlic flavor, but it's pretty on par to what my parents make, so. Alright, so now, let me just get the beef here. Yeah, all the juice that I put on top of it, yeah, it got right into it, so, alright. Let me just now get a little bit of this, and... Huh. You know, even though I said that it looked overcooked, this is pretty much how I remember it, in the sense of like, yeah, no. This is exactly how my mom and dad cooked it, because my parents have the tendency to also overcook stuff. But it's so good. It's so beefy. It's very strong meat flavor, very iron, I guess, because roast beef has very little fat. So, you know, it's very meaty meat, but... It's weird. This is really weird. I don't know. Because... You know, I've made good food on stream and this and that. And usually I will have a lot of say. But... I don't think there's really much to say about it all. It's just really good. Like, the beef is cooked very nicely, albeit maybe a little over. The juice that it was sitting in absorbs some of the juice. So it's not overbearingly dry in that regard. But the rice too. It's just... So it's what it is. Since I put the noodles, since I poured the juice on top of the rice and the beef, you know, the rice, which is nice, buttery, rich, absorb some of the juice as well. So it's not just buttered rice, it's now beefy buttered rice now. Yeah, I cut this the wrong way. It's not like an issue because I actually kind of like chewing. I like chewing on a piece of meat. I don't really like to. As much as I like and enjoy a nice tender cut of beef and this and that, there's something really just drilled into my brain of like when it comes to just like an not over, but like a chewy piece of meat. It's weird, I don't have a problem with it, I guess. It's not like, oh, this is like as tough as shoe leather or anything like that. It has chew and stuff like that. A little bit more chew than I guess some people would be tolerated with, but I like it. Yeah, this is just kind of simply said. It kind of takes me back to simpler times, you know? What cut of meat is it? It's London broil. I don't exactly remember what cut it is specifically. But I believe it is from the chuck. Hold on, let me check. London broil. It is. It is a flank steak. So yeah, it's pretty much like a flank steak then. Top round, all that stuff. Yeah. Oh, yeah, the veggies, of course. Can't forget about that now. Ah, yeah. Wow. It's funny. Because there's really not much to say about it. It is just kind of... Simply said, it's squash with a bit of richness from the butter, salt, and it's like steamed to heck and back. But like, it is very comforting. I really want to go out and say right now, I'm not really taken too far back when it comes to this, I guess. Like, it's not like I'm about to cry or something like that, you know? But it's still very... I don't know how to explain what this kind of makes me think right now. Because... I will say at the very least, I'm thinking right now. And you know, maybe I'm thinking like, oh yeah, my My spoiled brat side of me is thinking like, oh man, this is the worst thing I've made in recent time, just because it's very simplistic. Doesn't really too much crazy things. Like, I messed up cooking that steak too. You know, stuff like that. Like, oh yeah, I messed up the steak. The rice, you know, probably could have put more salt into it. The squash was overcrowded and steamed, which is what I wanted to do, but like that's not like a good way of eating it, I guess. But and also the garlic butter. Why would you? I mean, garlic butter. The garlic bread. The garlic bread doesn't really make sense. Just having that to the side like that. It doesn't make sense. To be honest, this entire bit of food, like, that was really good though. So how do I explain everything, I guess? So, in my head, honestly, with all the stuff that I've made in recent years, and this and that, like heck, like, I remember eating that French dip from, what is it? From yesterday? Not yesterday, last week. That French dip, the banh mi. Was that last week? No, 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago to when we did that. And I remember recently I made like fried rice and this and that. Like, that stuff was out of the park in the sense of flavor. Like, it tasted extremely good. The flavor was on par, on the ball of that. It was amazing. It tasted great. But despite that, I think what I made today is just a lot better. And I don't have any explanation to why. It just tasted better. And I don't really have an explanation. Maybe it's just a cloud of nostalgia that's blocking my entire view of what it should, what this is in comparison to what I've had. You know what this... Okay, hold on. First of all, you see on the screen, I'm going to just show it. That's still a live feed. I actually got to go bake that bread real quick. I'm going to throw it into the oven in a moment. Give me a sec. So yeah, where was I? So you know what this... Okay, so this is really strange to say it like this. But this just made me feel really lonely. Is that weird to say? That's real. It feels really weird to say just like that, but like... I can't say that I feel, like, sad, because I don't feel sad right now. I feel very happy, the nostalgia feelings and all this and that, you know? But at the same time, I can't help but feel... almost very, like I'm missing something. It's like... lonely, I guess? I don't know, not lonely, I don't think that's the right word to use. It's weird, I don't know how to explain this. Is it the sauce that makes it better? The sauce is really... there is no sauce. It's the juice that I used... it's the juice from the the beef that was resting on all that. The juices came out, so I poured the juice on top of the beef and all that. It makes sense if you had it growing up a lot. Oh, I did. This was like... I don't really remember a lot of things that my parents would cook. But there was like 5 things I remember them to cook. Meatloaf, chicken parm, well, fried chicken, not fried chicken, but there was like 5 things I would eat growing up that I remember. Breaded pork chops, breaded chicken, London broil, what's the first thing I said? I forgot. Either way, there was like a lot of things I would eat a lot growing up with my family and stuff, you know? Maybe like you said, this was a family meal, so eating it by yourself doesn't feel right. No, like... Oh yeah, meatloaf. Yeah, so meatloaf. Yeah, meatloaf, the breaded pork chop, breaded chicken, London broil, and then on very rare occasion we would get like filet mignon, but I really don't like filet anymore. But no, Pomf, I think you've really hit the nail on the head here. I think that's exactly the thing I'm thinking of, I think, right now. That is the thing I am thinking of right now. Like, this is incredibly delicious. Like, it's very home style, family gathering, simple food. Like, it's Friday, everyone's off from work, just came back from school, the homework is done, we're gonna have a nice meal because it's Friday, and like, hey, it was on sale, you know? So... yeah, it's bringing me back down to that time, to where it's like, yeah, simple things, just got back off from school, finished a test, we got a good grade, my sister just came back from school as well, and like this and that, and it's like... yeah, no, it's just like, that really is the best way to explain how I'm feeling, because like, I'm not feeling sad, but I am feeling very conflicted in the sense that there is something missing. And it's not the food, really, because the food is excellent, it's great. The beef is cooked perfectly, seasoned nicely on the outside, the cook was perfect, relatively. The garlic bread was delicious, the rice was nicely buttered, and when it soaked in all the au jus from the roast beef itself, it turned out really nicely. The vegetables are nicely steamed, seasoned nicely, with a bit of butter and all this and that. So, like, the flavor, when it comes to that, everything tasted good, but 100%, the only thing that's missing is people. It feels very weird to eat something like this alone, you know? It's like if you had, like, an entire family meal, but then your family's not there. Okay, this is really strange, because like, I didn't mean to make this seem like, oh, uncomfortable, upset, and stuff like that, but it's a weird, I don't know, it's a weird thing to say. It's not a weird thing, but it's like, I do feel bad when I say this, but I don't really think about my parents too much anymore, in the sense that I only really see what's in front of me. I live a distance away from my parents, so I don't really see them too much anymore. I see them like maybe twice a month, which isn't bad. That's more than most, I guess. But I still kind of miss them every now and then. Yeah, this is so weird. I don't like getting emotional. I'm not really emotional. I'm not gonna cry. It's just more like a contemplation of sorts. I don't know. It's very strange. Alright, well, hey, I'm thinking too hard about this stuff. The food was great. I'm gonna have nice leftovers now. I'm gonna make some leftovers I'm gonna set up some leftover stuff for tomorrow. so I can have dinner for the next following days. And some of that beef tomorrow I'm gonna be using for sandwiches, I guess. Yeah. I don't know what to talk about. I think I need a sec. I need a second to think for a sec. I need a second to think. Yeah. You know, come to think, you know, nah. I feel awkward now. I'm sorry. You alright? Yeah, I'm alright. I'm good. Just feel weird. Oh, I'm just really awkward right now. I've made it extremely awkward for myself now. I don't have a reason to why. I'm just not awkward. I'm just I'm self-conscious. Alright. I'm not going to raid just yet, but I'm looking for options to whom to go raid right now. Unfortunately, it doesn't really look like there's many to go raid into. Unfortunately. Keep the options open though. Shame. Still can't raid anyone on YouTube yet. I don't think is there anyone to raid on YouTube yet? Well, is there anyone to raid on YouTube regardless? No, there is not. Yeah, by the looks of it, no, not really. Yeah, there's no one to raid on YouTube even if I wanted to. I wonder how close. Okay, let's see. Let's take a little look-see here. Let me go take a little look-see. Let's see how far I am. Nah, I don't want to talk about that stuff. Numbers. Who wants to hear about numbers? It's all a number game. Wow. I'm still gonna look it up right now. I'm curious. I want to raid. I want to support lads. I want to support people. I want to get people big. I want to get you know. I wish I was better at talking. I'm so sorry. Oh, no, it's getting close though. Definitely say we're almost more than halfway. So woohoo, yippee! 1844. We are more than halfway there. I need to get to 3,000 hours of watch hours, apparently. And then I can actually start raiding into people. Well, I guess, okay, so how it works to go get to raid into people. Oh, hold on. Wait, I gotta hold that thought. I gotta go flip the bread real quick. Hold on. Sorry, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, hours. So, how you actually get eligible to raid someone on YouTube? It's the same thing on Twitch to where when you are monetized. Well, I think you can raid even if you aren't monetized on Twitch, but like either way around it, you actually have to get monetized on YouTube first, and then once you're monetized, you can actually start rating into people. So that's how it works. We're actually getting fairly close. So, thank you, thank you all for watching. It really does. It means a lot in my head. I don't really care about getting monetized too much. If anything, I want to. What is it? I don't know what the word is. I kind of just want to just raid people. I think it's just kind of fun, you know? It's fun to just raid into people with like a small bit of party or whatnot. You know, just raiding with one person, 2 people, 5 people, whatever it may be. The number may be even 10 one day. But I feel like raiding into people, especially on YouTube, since it's not very common to raid on YouTube, especially since the entryway to actually get to raiding is very high. It's a lot more like, oh my god, I just got raided. Whoa, wow. It's like getting raided on YouTube, on Twitch too. I don't really get raided on Twitch that very often. None of the pals that I raid into very often really stream at these times. So like, I know why, but... Sorry, excuse me. But, I don't very much get raided very often. So whenever someone does raid me, it's like, oh my god, someone raided me? That's really unheard of. Wow, it's crazy. So I would think that, hey, raiding into someone on YouTube or Twitch or whatever it may be is also equally as like, wow, raids. I don't know. I think it's fun. Sorry, I'm just casually looking around on Twitch right now. I'm looking for peeps to possibly go raid into. Oh, hold on. Before I do that, I'm actually gonna go get my bread again. Buttons. You can see them right there to the top, bottom left, well, the left of the screen. There you go. Now you can see the bread. But bread, wow, that's nice. Oh, I don't know what to talk about now. I guess if there's something to talk about tomorrow, we are actually going to be cooking again. But it's gonna be more of like a very simple zatsu. I kind of want to see if I can go harass someone enough to where they can just sit and talk with me. Kind of want to, kind of don't, because I don't feel like harassing someone over such a silly thing. But, what's the word? I don't know what the word is. I forgot my train of thought. I don't know what the hell I was talking about. I forgot. What was I talking about? I actually have no... Kind of want to... kind of want to... Yeah. I'm not sure if I want to do that, though. Just because... It's not really a nice thing to do, you know? That, and I don't really think I know anyone that would probably be more or less up to the job. Wow. Okay, so I am looking at I am just scrolling around on Twitch, and I'm actually quite surprised of how many people are doing subathons. Like, I get it, you know, I understand why people are wanting to do subathons because what is it? It's September, so gift subs and stuff like that are a lot cheaper now. So I get it, but there's no but. It's just like, wow, it's just a lot of people Oh. Yeah. Oh, a heads up about next week, though. Hopefully, if things go well, which they should, if they do, if things go well, next week we'll be having a lot of fun. I'm not sure exactly to when and what days, but I do have a lot of stuff planned out. Yeah, I got some stuff planned out, so I'm gonna try and get that set. Be excited for that, because I am. I'm very excited for it. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. I got some ideas. Been thinking of some real good ideas to do with some people. So there's that. Yeah, there's a lot of people I've been thinking of. A lot of things I want to do. Been been doing some reading, I guess. Oh sweet, I can ban people? Oh, that's nice. Sorry, unrelated. I'm cooking collabs or game collabs or cooking stuff. Kind of a mix of both, honestly. That's on paper, at least, on paper. We're gonna do some fun stuff. Mostly a lot of collabs. I'm so excited. I'm doing the thing. I'm talking to people. I'm doing the VTuber thing. It's crazy. You'll never believe how I did it, though. It's really a crazy, amazing, astonishing thing. But, okay, listen. I actually decided to ask. I decided to ask people if they wanted to do a thing, and then they said yes! God, who knew it was that easy? Who knew it was that easy to ask for collabs? You just ask them, and they either say yes, or they say no. Wow. Hi, Scav. Hello. Yeah, it's always a funny thing in my head, because, you know, asking people to play games with, or asking people to, do stuff with, it's not hard, but for some reason there's always that mental barrier of like, oh yeah, I'm scared to, I want to, but I'm always intimidated to do so. And it's like, oh, I expect people to do the initiation first, because, I don't know, my idea is that if they don't want to collab with me, they're not going to ask me to begin with. But at the same time, it's like, you know what, if I want to play games with them, a lot of the things, like, I want to do this stuff off stream. So, too, but I digress. Either way around, there are some things where it's like, I think too hard about it, you know? Especially because if you were here on yesterday's stream, last night's stream, a very surprising figure decided to message me. Message on, what is it, on Twitch. It was a old pal. It was a really nice pal that, I haven't connected to in quite some time. Could very much say I haven't talked to them for an easy, like, maybe 2 years. So, it's kind of funny how this week is just kind of a nostalgic week, but it's making me take, like, a few steps back, making me think a little bit. And, in some regard, taking risks, in the sense of, like, I feel like I have talked to a lot of nice people, but I've only talked and never really done anything to them, I guess. Like, I never actually said, like, hey, we should play a game sometime. Hey, you want to do a stream sometime, and this, and that, and that, and this, you know? I was always kind of a little worried about it, a little scared, if you will, just because in my head, I have a very glass cannon mentality of like, yeah, I like these people. These people are amazing. I love having their friendship, and I love being able to call them my friends. But also at the same time, I don't want to risk anything because I'm too acquainted with people kind of I'm too acquainted with people kind of just disappearing, in the sense, you know? But also, I'm kind of realizing like that sort of thought, that sort of mentality is like something for kids, you know? And the people I talk to aren't really kids. We're like, you know, relatively the same, I think. But I don't know. I always think like, oh, there's a risk. There's gonna be a risk involved, and like, you know, there's always gonna be a risk involved when you talk to people. But at the same time, I guess my mental is just thinking like, don't lose more friends and stuff like that. It's like, no, it's okay. You can't be friends with everyone, and you know what? It's not a bad thing. That's just how life is. Sometimes you can't be friends with everyone, and that's just a thing that happens. This happens a lot to me, but I don't know. I gotta stop worrying about it so much. Do you really want to be friends with people that would end it that easy, though? That's how I like to try and see it. That is true, Sai. However, I do have a very bad stroke of luck to where I associate myself with people that seem nice at first, but then they flip at a moment's notice, and then completely just stuff happens. Like this one pal, when I was talking to this good friend from yesterday, this person I was talking about. This person that I'm talking about, what is it? I was talking to them and like asking them about some of the pals I used to talk to, like this and that. So I was asking them like, hey, how have they been? How have this and that been? And one of those said friends is like, one of those friends that I really respected, they kind of dropped because they became a lot more toxic and this and that. And it's like, yeah, you know what? That's just how it is. Yeah, that seems about right and this and that. So like, I just never really associated myself with the nicest of people. Very emotionally manipulative people. But hey, that was also me when I was like, what? When I was like 7? Not 7. That's a little bit too young. But when I was like 16, 15 and stuff like that, when I was very young and very silly of like, oh, everyone wants to be friends and stuff like that. That high school drama sort of era, if you will. It's better if they reveal themselves earlier, if it's actually like that. Yeah, I'm the person that found this stuff really late. So much so that it's like, I feel like I'm the problem in that regard. There's a lot of pals I've had, a lot of friend groups I was a part of. Remember when we were talking yesterday about previous aliases? Yeah, I've gone through plenty of aliases before. A lot of them have been lost to time, thankfully. But yeah, I go through different aliases, and the reason, if there's ever a reason to when I make a new alias or this and that, like, I'll let you know that people used to call me Cross for a while. Like, I had so many aliases, this and this and that, that and that and this. I was called very different things. But, every single time I make a new alias is because a friend group has basically dropped me. Or, like, I've dropped them because I found out too early or this and that. Like, essentially, the thing is, if I make a new alias, I'm moving on from the people I know. That being said, it's kind of weird having my alias now, being who I am now. Salty. Hi everyone, I love you all, if I haven't said it enough. It's weird, because this is like the most stable so far. In the sense that I feel a very nice sense of security. I feel very comforted here. Comforting the soul indeed, very much. Feel very, very cozy now. But at the same time, my entire, if you would, trauma is kind of built up in the sense of like, people are gonna drop you again, and you're gonna make a new alias and restart again and do something else. It's like, that's scary, but at the same time, it's like, it's what it is. It happens. High school drama never ends, lol. People just get older physically, just gotta find the right peeps. And that's the thing, I just don't have good luck with that. I never really find the right peeps. My whole friend group abandoned me, but I'm still on contact with them because I ended on good terms. Yeah. That's sometimes, you know, they just leave you just because. Sometimes they just leave you because, what's the word? kind of just grow out of a friend group sometimes. That's sometimes what happens too. You get too old, they get too old, and then you guys change so much that you just barely recognize each other. And then you just kind of go your separate ways. It's just how sometimes life is. Just because someone fell in love. That happens. Love is a very strange thing. And you know, talking about love, you know, I've been thinking about this, but I've been wanting to do a stream talking about love. Just because it's kind of funny, because like I have a very, I'm not sure what kind of standard I have when it comes to talking about love. Okay, so remember when I was just saying, I just said, oh yeah, we want to do a stream talking about love and this and that. This is the stream now. We're talking about love now. We're going to talk about love. Because, it's funny talking about love. And my perception of love. Because when I talk about it, people think I'm really, really... How is it? Really... I guess... I really need a lot of stuff, I guess, to be my significant other. But at the same time, it's like, what's the word? If you're gonna spend someone with the rest of your life with, you want to make sure that they're gonna be the right person, you know? And maybe I'm a bit narcissistic for thinking this, but I think I'm a very kind of grounded, to-earth, mature, maybe even way of thinking about when it comes to relationships. But like, when it comes to love and stuff like that, keep in mind I've never been in a relationship, so maybe all this stuff is just like honeymoon thoughts of like, oh, everything's great, everything's lovely in the world, this and that and that and this. But when it comes to love and this and that, it's weird. I don't know really how to explain this too well, because I've never really had that feeling of love. But it's like, how do you explain it? Well, first of all, in my head, like, the best thing to do is go on dates. Then you go on one date, and then you go on another date, and then you go on 3 dates at least. It's really best to try and, in my head, I think it would make the most sense to judge people off, like, the first, not the first, but like the second or third date, you know? Like, the first date is always going to be kind of messy. Or at least how I imagine it to be. The first date is always going to be messy, because you're just meeting each other, you're setting boundaries and this and that. And the second date is probably going to be the more important one, because, first of all, you're going back to the same person, and now you're probably a bit more cozy. And then the third date is kind of like the most relaxed one you're going to probably have. So then you want to judge your time off that, and then like, if you go on from the fourth and the fifth, then you know, maybe that's probably going to be, maybe that's an ideal partner or whatnot. But never really found love though, just dates. Everyone I've been with, I've met organically or were friends with prior. Well, that's nice. That's more than what I have. Talking to the underperformers yesterday, if anything, I'm the most underperforming. Because everyone else, from what I've heard, from what I remember, they said they've been in love, they've been in a relationship, they've dated, or had a significant other at some point. I've never had anything. I have never had a significant other. Now, granted, I will say that I've had people I have had people crush for me before, but I found that after the fact, and then realizing that, you know what, I think I dodged a bullet there too. So, you know, stuff like that. But what is it? Not dodge a bullet, but no, it is dodge a bullet, because there were some really interesting people that has gone out and said, oh yeah, I'd like to. But then it's like, okay, so the first one I've met, they were an extremely careless pothead, which is no problem with you doing weed. However, if you make it into an excessive problem, that is when it becomes a problem, right? When you make it excessive and it becomes like 50% of your personality, then it's like, okay, you have a problem. But I digress. Then there was another person Never met them in my life, but they kind of talk to me as if I knew them ever since their, I guess, childhood. But when I was being nice to them and said, hey, I respect your feelings, but I don't feel the same way, and so trying to be cordial about it, the next day they absolutely hated me. So, that definitely was a very good weave there, very good dodge, because I feel like if you really love someone, you're gonna feel a little upset maybe, but the most mature thing to do is to just kind of nod your head and say, okay, just move on. Because then if you start going on and saying like, hey, I hate you now, blah 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 blah, and this, blah, 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 then it kind of makes that first initial contact of like, hey, I like you, seem so ingenuine. It makes it seem like you wanted to like me for some other reason, and I'm not sure I really would have been happy with you, you know? If you love someone, you just let them go, you know? If you really think you like someone and they just simply say no, then you just go, okay. Just let it go, you know? I don't know. Once more, maybe it's just because I've never been in love, so I don't know how it feels to get your heart broken like that. But like, I don't know, it's just like, in my head, if you love someone so much, and you respect them, and you respect their feelings, and this and that, then it's like, if you just say, and if they're not gonna say, oh, I hate you, what the heck are you talking about, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I get it, if you hate them in that regard, that makes sense. But, as I said, I went to say, I respect your feelings, but I would like to be friends still. That's kind of the thing. Like, even though I've been it was only one time. When I've been approached, I do know how to respond and reciprocate in a mature manner, because I still, even though I don't understand love very much, I still respect to others people's feelings, because, like, you know, love is a very special thing for some people to feel. So, when when they were just very adamant and very upset and this and that, it's just kind of like, you are not my type to even begin with. Then, if you're gonna be this and that, and you're not gonna be true to how you feel, then it's like, I knew I was right with saying no. I would not be happy with that person, you know? Strong emotions can swing both ways, I guess. Oh, and here's a real funny one. The most latest one, but this was in college. So, actually, I lied when I said that I've never been in love before. But there was a person that I kind of liked. I was in that idea, like, hey, I think I kind of like them. So I told them, like, hey, I like you. Do you like me back? And they were, like, you know, very cordial. They were very respectful about it. They were like, hey, you know, I respect your feelings, but I don't feel the same way. And, you know, I kind of was like, you know what? That's okay. I'm just gonna say, I pretty much said, oh, okay, well, my bad. I'm sorry. You know, I just made the moment awkward, you know? I don't know how to reciprocate. Like, I don't know how to, like, accept it fully, because that was probably my first time ever admitting to someone, and also my first time getting rejected in that regard. But, like, it's like, hey, we had a mutual exchange. We were very, very mature with each other. They moved on. I moved on. Dandelions and daisies. Now, the thing that made it kind of interesting is that they said, like, maybe a week later is saying, oh yeah, I would never date Salty because he's too stupid. And that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Like, hey, listen, if we were the kind of people to make kind of jokes like that with, and I'm not the person to make those kind of jokes, I would see that as funny. I'm not that kind of person that makes that kind of joke. So when you come to tell me, and this was straight to my face too, and after they did that, they also vaped, they took a hit of their vape and blew smoke into my face when they said that. It's like, oh, Okay, I see. I understand now. Okay. I felt a little bit of resentment of like, okay, I'm now actually completely over this person. I dodged a bullet in the sense of, no, I almost shot myself in the foot there, you know? And it gets better. It gets even better. Because one night, you know, we're still on friendly terms, although I'm kind of feeling a little annoyed. You know, I still feel a bit of resentment from that, because that's BS. When they came to me one night, and it was after a night of hard work and whatnot. A pal brings them over to my room because apparently they were both drunk, but she was crying, and it's like, oh, no one else is gonna be nice to her because everyone else is asleep and I'm awake, so it's like, hey, sure, bring her in, blah, 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 blah. I'll comfort her and stuff like that, because why not? You know, someone's upset and like they're calling for my help, I guess, and it's like, okay, well, I guess, why not? So here's the funny thing, here's the kicker. They start telling me and start saying and this and that, like, oh, why don't you like me? Blah, 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 blah. I like you. Why don't you like me back? At that point, I was just trying to not think of, like, I gotta kick this person out of my room. They were drunk, they were sobbing, they were saying this and that, and it's like, okay. Yeah. So once more, getting into that situation of I am not attracted in the sense of like love, but like just attracted to people in the sense of like friends and all that. I associate myself with the wrong kind of people. So now I had this person now in my room, drunk, sad, admitting this and that, and it's like, I want to kick you out the window. But I let them stay over the night, so they got their own bunk bed, because we had 4 bunk beds, but there was only 2 people in the room. So I let hers go sleep somewhere else, and then she left the next morning, I guess. So, woo, I guess, yay. So kind of annoying. That was probably the most annoying thing, and probably is a very strong reason to why a very strong reason to why I'm just very much just asexual. Just because, like, I hate people. I've pretty much seen, what is it? The bad, and the worst. You know? All of my, I guess, what's the word? Oh, sorry. All of my encounters when it comes to more intimate relationship and stuff like that has been bad. It's been very bad. So I'm just asexual by default. Like, I guess I more or less, when I want to be in a relationship now, I don't want to be in a relationship from impulse. I want to be in a relationship from a buildup of trust or something like that. Or not just trust, but I guess the interesting thing to say is just I want to be in love with someone. I don't know. You don't have to think about it sexually, though. It's just a deeper friendship. Yeah, I'm not sure. Asexual is not really the right word to say. Because, I want to... Sorry. If I want to get really specific here, technically speaking, I am pan-romantic, pansexual, but like I hate people, so I'm like aromantic, but pansexual, blah blah blah. I don't understand the stuff still. Because like I like people. No, okay, so there's a word I know to where people will not associate, but there's a terminology of like, oh, the only way you can get, I guess, sexually attracted to someone if you spend time and care and trust in a relationship, like blah, stuff like that. Like, isn't that just kind of just getting a good relationship with someone and like, I don't know, blah, sex, blah, who cares about that? I just care about the love, I guess, I don't know. I don't understand this relationship It's a whole bunch of hogwash I do not understand. I think that's called demisexual. I'm that then. I'm demisexual, aromantic, and I hate people. So I don't know. It's weird. It's weird to talk about it's weird to talk about relationships with people just because I've had a minimal amount. But I feel like every single relationship in the sense of like friendships and stuff, every single friendship I've been a part of, it's been very complicated because they kind of just move on. Really, I really don't know how to explain it. First, requires close personal bond and not very casual. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Either way around, I still don't really find that stuff to be all that interesting still. But I don't know. I care less about that kind of stuff and just more like I just want to have a good personal bond with people. I don't know. But I do see, what is it? I do see friendships more as just like, I do see relationships more as like just that, as you said. They're just more personal friendships. They're just a deeper bond of a friendship. I mean, I don't know, just kind of guessing. I'm no psychologist. Yeah. Don't stress about the love stuff. Let it come naturally if it does. Yeah, and that's kind of pretty much how I come around with it too. That is pretty much how I go around with like that whole lovey-dovey stuff. I kind of just more or less just, if I feel it, you know what, I'm gonna go shoot my shot. But so far, for the past while, really, I haven't really felt that, I guess. I don't know. It's a very, what's it? A very, very rare feeling to have. So, not something I feel very often. A very, very weird feeling. Ugh, I don't like feeling love. And at the same time, the only time I would theoretically, if I were to feel love, it's gonna be against. It's probably would be with people online, but that's a muddy thing to begin with. Relationships online can work. One of my best friends, I think, has an online relationship, and it worked well. I think they're actually like really close. I think they're living with each other at this point. Like, they're really, I'm so happy for him. I'm so goddamn happy for him. He deserves the world, so like, very happy for him. But his relationship was online. I'm like, very happy. And like, yeah, good for him. So I bet they could work. They can work, and they probably do work. But I'm worried in the sense of like, I know that I could be very parasocial. Just going to go out and say it. Hey, hi, chronically online guy here. And I know that in the worst case scenario, I can be very parasocial. Heck, I'm very parasocial right now because I don't know. Who goes on to talk about this kind of stuff? To just speaking up random stuff and stuff online, you know? This is like very personal stuff that you would probably talk with friends and this and that, no? Fortunately, I don't really want to. I don't know. When I want to have friends, I get worried about talking about this and that, blah. I don't know. It's fun to talk about it though, just because like, hey, then we can kind of talk to each other about it, you know? Salty sees us as friends? Of course I do, yeah. I see everyone as a friend. Unless you're like the stupid people that come into the chat and just say really stupid, nonsensical stuff like boneless pizza. Like, you're not funny. I get tired of you. I'll get tired of it eventually, and you're just gonna get banned. Like how like how I banned the other guy. Like, hey, you might think it's funny for the bit, but I'm gonna just ban you, and I don't know. But damn, that getting one guy to Lamau. Oh yeah, I'm definitely one guy, yeah. I don't know what it means to be one guy, but like, if you're gonna be annoying, I'm gonna make sure you set the example. You're gonna be the martyr. Hey, I don't like that. That's stupid. I'm a very forward and blunt person when I want to be, at least. If I don't like something, I'm gonna tell you I don't like it. I will say, hey, stop that. Chill out. Don't do it. And then I get passive aggressive. And then I'll like say, hey, you should probably stop doing that. And then at that point, if you're just not gonna pay attention, then I'm just gonna cut you off. Or in this case, since we live in such an easy world online, we can just block and ban people. So, isn't that also kind of a funny thing? A little bit of a take, I guess. I can feel the aggression in those pen clicks. Oh no, this is not okay. These aren't pens. So, I actually, you know those like wooden. If anyone has gone to Shake Shack and ever actually bought the fries, they give you like these wooden picks, and I have 3 of them because sometimes they just put more than one. So I'm using this to fidget with right now. I'm very surprised you actually heard that. So, anyways, I don't know what I was talking about. I forgot what I was talking about. Oh yeah, so anyways, I'll tell you when I don't like something. I'll tell you when I don't like something. And especially if you're someone I do not know. Let's say you're someone new in chat. You're not dead, but like you are. That's it, I guess. I don't know. I'm a very blunt person, and especially if we're just acquainted, I don't see you as good or bad. But yeah, I mean, I don't see you as good. I very much like to say that I look at people in a very straightforward, blank canvas sort of attitude. I like to think of everyone as a canvas, and everyone on first impression is who they want to paint themselves to be. Now I know I just said about a few moments ago about relationships, like, oh, it's not the first thing you think about, it's the second, third, and fourth, which I still kind of hold true. But like the first impressions are important. It's like it's kind of how you want to set yourself to be. So there's that. So if you set yourself the first way and it's kind of bad, and then you set yourself the second way like how you did the first way, such as the stupid boneless guy, you're not funny. You're stupid. You're stupider than me. So I don't know. I know that it's like I want to try and make this cozy for everyone and this and that. I want to try and make sure that we have a cozy little area to where we can just relax, vibe with even. But at the same time, I still have my little ticks, I guess. So, oh, it's only cozy for the right kind of people, I guess. So, true, if I didn't lurk when I first got here, my ban would be permanent, lol. No. Wait, oh yeah, that's right, didn't Bush ban you once? Can't remember. I think I told him to unban you. I don't know. And I guess that's kind of a thing about, like, oh, I need to try and relax a little bit more on, I guess. Because I kind of understand that I have a very... Juwon did it by accident. Oh! I thought that was Bush. Okay. What is it? Either way around it. I kind of need to relax a little bit because he hates me personally, for real, for real. Juwon hates everyone, it's fine. But, that's just a thing I think I need to actually just get better. Relaxing a bit more. Because I know that I am always on edge. I don't know why, so. Well, okay. I am quite tired. I've done enough yapping, I think. I got nothing really else to talk about, which is another thing to say. And there's no one I can raid on Twitch, so, I think we're just gonna end the stream today. we're gonna end the stream. We're not gonna raid into anyone because there's no one to go raid on Twitch, and I don't think that there's anyone we can even pseudo raid on YouTube. There's no one live that we can just post. I can post the link to us, but I think we're just going to end it here, just like that. No one else to really raid into. So yeah, we're gonna end off today then. Leaving us? Yeah, I'm leaving you. Listen, leaving independence is a strong ability. Independence is a very important thing to have, alright? Relying on someone is not healthy. So, anyways, that's it for me today. I am going to go. I gotta go clean up the kitchen. More importantly. So, thank you all for tuning in today. Please tune in tomorrow. We are going to be making some sandwiches. We're going to be talking a bit more because sandwich making is very simple, you know? It'll be very simple and easy tomorrow. So, tune in tomorrow. We'll have another yappin' food session there. So thank you all for tuning in today. I hope you have a good morning, afternoon, and evening. I love you guys, no matter how much I don't say it. But I do love you guys. So, Saltea Kichee, everyone. And I will see you tomorrow. Ciao. Bye-bye.